pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Roll call, please.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here.
Mr. Teetsort?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mrs. Hobby? Here.
Keeping with our initiative this year, our mission for Northwest Local School District will create a responsive learning community where all students are valued, challenged, and guided along a pathway to their success. Okay. First up on our agenda is an executive session. It'll be a brief executive session. We'll return and complete the rest of the meeting shortly after that. Daryl, did you? This is Daryl.
So, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Great. We'll break for executive session and be back shortly. To special presentation.
So this special presentation is actually the Ohio School Boards Association recognizes distinguished board members for years of service. So we actually have 2 board members who are being recognized by the Ohio School Boards Association for distinguished service. We have Chris Heather, who is being acknowledged as a distinguished board member with 10 years of service. And we have Jim Detzel, who is being recognized as a distinguished board member with 15 years of service. So we want to take a moment and congratulate the 2 of you and thank you for the service that you've had for the district and what you've done while you've been here.
Speech.
Well, I'm humbled by this.
Chris, congratulations.
Thank you, Daryl. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay.
Okay, that brings us to 6.1, legislative updates. Chris?
Yeah, Mark, there's a bill that's about ready to be passed. Let me get the mic on here. And I think it's of interest. It's House Bill 126, which basically is set up to do away with school boards' abilities to challenge property values. You know, when a commercial entity says, no, our place isn't worth 10 million, it's only worth 8, the district can challenge that. Ohio apparently is one of just a few states that allows that. And I did have a couple questions, and I think it's made it through committee and is awaiting the governor's signature or very close. But I had a couple questions that I couldn't answer that I wanted to ask Amy, and she's been briefed on this. Amy, just so people know that this is more than just an incidental thing, if you could just tell us how many times in the last year did the Northwest Local School District challenge any commercial real estate?
So we challenged 47 times. 2020 was a update year based on sales. 14 times we found where the sale was like a sale leaseback, which is a loophole in the law which doesn't record it as a sale. So we were able to actually file the complaints and take those sale prices to the Board of Revisions and get those on valuation, which was actually an increase in tax revenue of $224,000 for those 14, and a value of increasing those 14 properties from 8 million to 15 million in valuation.
Okay, so next question. How many times have we made these challenges and we've won them?
62% of the time this past year we were able to win on the 25 counter complaints. So the property, we only file Board of Revision counter complaints on commercial properties only. We do not challenge residential properties. So on the 25 commercial property counter complaints that we filed, 12 of them we were able to keep at the county auditor's valuation, so without having that reduced. That was $17 million in valuation, or $272,000 in property taxes. And because it's 2022 bills had already gone out for 2021, that's actually 2 years worth of tax revenue that we would owe back, or $544,000. And then because of 2020 being the COVID and the pandemic, they allowed 2 rounds of complaints to be filed for 2020. So there were 8 complaints filed. We filed counter complaints on those. They were requesting $12.6 million in reductions, and we were able to get that down to $4 million, or saving the district $276,000 and owing $64,000.
And one final question, Amy. If this were law last year, this House Bill 126, if that had been law last year, how much bottom line dollars would that have cost the Northwest School District?
$1.6 million.
So 1.6 out of a budget of?
100 million.
So almost 2%. Okay, it's more
And
than.
and the representatives want to do away with our ability to get more money in based on them undervaluating the commercial properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who's making this decision up in Columbus?
Well, it's passed the Ohio House, and I think it's passed the Senate and they're in conference committee.
Yes.
Okay, which means.
So they already voted on it and it passed it in the Senate?
Easily.
Yeah, and then went back to the House rejected it, so it's headed to conference committee.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the governor to
Yes.
sign.
And you have to realize that the way the state law is written, local communities are supposed to fund their public school district. And so that's the reason why, as a public school district, we have the right to challenge tax values, because that's how we're funded, is by our local communities.
So if I have a building that, let's say it's worth $1 million, and then, I don't know, 5 years from now, you know, my building's only worth $700,000. Who do I go to? The Board of Revisions to say, hey, I need this changed? They make the decision if it's allowable or not?
They do, and then that's where we do the counter complaints if we have an appraisal that says it's not.
So if the Board of Revisions then says, okay, yeah, we're going to let you only say my building's only worth $700,000, we have no recourse then after that, if this law goes into account?
We can file with the board, no, if the law goes into account, no, we have no recourse.
That's, okay.
And so, once the tax bills have gone out, we would have already collected, and so if they reduced it down, we would owe the tax money back to the county, which would go back to the property owner. If the Board of Revisions hasn't made their decision and before the next round of bills goes out, because for January, they have to have that all done by October, and if we're in Board of Revisions or Board of Tax Appeals, then that could be 2 years in the 3-year cycle that we would have to owe back.
So this is just another way of going to screw the school district out of additional money that should be due to them
And then
because of the value of the property.
Then the 3rd year, it would revert back to all commercial property would pay what, because taxes are flat when passed. So then it would be split between the remaining commercial property valuations, and we would be made whole. Until the next time you go to do a renewal on one of our emergency levies or a new levy, valuation would have been reduced, which means we would have to ask for more to get the same amount of revenue.
And finally, Amy, it's not really a question. In researching this, I tried to find out, I was only aware of 3 other states that allow this, so it's not like a radical thing that districts can't, but you had mentioned that the township cannot challenge, just the school district.
Just the school.
So it's a lot of money, way more than I thought. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's it,
Chris.
Mark?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very good. That brings us to 6.2, Student Achievement Liaison. Mrs. Talby?
Well, much more exciting than the legislative update. All right, so I have a few notes that I received from Taylor Elementary. Alexander Brandenburg is going above and beyond in math class. Just started a new math program, involves a lot of problem solving, and Alexander has put forth a ton of effort and volunteers to share his hard work. and he is showing a great example of grit. That's from Miss Constance's class. Shariah Stroud is a Taylor Tiger that truly roars. She completes all assignments on time and without complaint. She is engaged in learning and kind to her fellow students. She's a great leader, always setting an example. Padrina Mercer is extremely hardworking, never giving up, and always ready to learn. Padrina has had much improvement in her math skills, which is not her favorite subject area. However, this has not put her down, and she has persisted with each unit to do her very best. Her past unit test scores show her efforts to improve and try her best. Miss Edwards is extremely proud of her efforts and the way that she continues to take on each challenge. Northwest High School Girls Bowling, Haley Goodman, first team all SWOC, and Boys Bowling, Edward Walker was first team, and Terrence Johnson Jr. was Bowler of the Year for the league, so that's a great accomplishment there. For Northwest High School Wrestling, Makari Harden in heavyweight competed in the state wrestling championship, and Kamari Harden competed in the state wrestling championship also for 190 pounds. Coleraine and Northwest students at state BPA and DECA competitions. 5 students were elected to the state officer positions. Grace Gaynor is the vice president. Mike Jones, treasurer. Braden Hauser, secretary. Sierra Goldick is parliamentarian. And Isabella Lambrinidis is a state officer. The following students have qualified for nationals in Dallas: Grace Gaynor, Nate Love, Lauren Clippard, Kate White, Elorm Nevis, Sierra Goldick, Braden Hauser, Haley Meese, Francis Bungabong, Natalie Jasper, Jostin Solomon, Josh Capel, Austin Yates, Sina Bear, Isabella Lambrinidis, and Olivia Burr, and Chapin Newman. And the following students will be in Atlanta the first week of May for DECA, which is DeBran Woods, Lily McFarland, Deacon Johnston, Isabella Lambrinidis, and Sina Bear. At Coleraine Middle School BPA Awards, we had Arius McKinney, Elise Manus, and Elena Gaynor, and Madison Meyer, who all placed in their competitions at the state conference and have qualified for nationals. Elise and Elena presented a passion project and why their project deserved money to be developed. And Arius scored high on the exam related to interest rates and financial planning. Madison scored high on an exam about digital citizenship. At the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition, Northwest High School had 2 students submit artwork. Landon Hill and Antonio Ahides Chaperone. Landon had 3 pieces selected for state level judging, and Antonio had 4. Judging was this past weekend, and Landon had a piece that will display in the Ohio State House. Our reflection winners in photography, we have Carson Asante, who's at Pleasant Run Elementary, and Autumn Pruitt. And for visual arts at Coleraine Elementary, we have Hazel Birding, Elijah Osage, Macy Trotter, Brendan Nelson, Jonathan Lawson, and then at Northwest High School, Dawa Gali and Landon Hill. In literature at White Oak Middle School, we had Simon Gehring, who wrote Making Life More Interesting. And then also at Coleraine High School, we had Layla Klotz, who wrote The Ways a World Can Change. Nevaeh Seward wrote Change the World Winner at Pleasant Run Elementary. And Taryn McKinley wrote I Will Change the World. For music composition, we had Brianna Hirth at White Oak Middle School. Our Coleraine show cards, Hawa Sao was the best performer at one of their events. Best female soloist twice was Carly Campbell, and male soloist and performer was Elijah Smith. Best performer was Connor Nauman, and their spring concert is this Thursday at Friendship Baptist Church. And then we'll move on to the next as a presentation, but just like to give all those students as they move on a round of applause.
College Credit Plus presentation.
So Pleasant Run Middle School is proud to recognize 3 8th grade students taking advantage of our College Credit Plus offerings through Cincinnati State and discuss their journey through the process. Principal Brad Watkins and 8th grade counselor Elizabeth Owasu Korkor will present a brief video interview of our students and be available to answer questions afterwards. Great.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity this evening to kind of brag about our kids.
Awesome.
And let them brag about themselves. Again, my name is Brad Watkins, proud principal of Pleasant Run Middle School. I'm joined this evening by our 8th grade counselor, Miss Elizabeth Owosu Korkor. Liz came to us, joined the Pleasant Run family last school year with a wealth of experience at the secondary level, middle school, high school, and some collegiate experience as well. And the moment she hit campus, she had been kind of advocating for providing these opportunities for our students. And we made some shifts this year with the additional counselor, and that allowed us to go to grade level. And it was a very easy transition for Liz and all her experience to take on our 8th graders and really do a nice job with counseling them, especially with providing them information on our College Credit Plus opportunities. So I'm going to sit back. It'll be hopefully the last you hear from me. We're going to let the kids talk. Hopefully you guys can hear them, and then we'll let Liz answer any questions that you might have. So
Great.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Brad.
My name is Zachary Lang. I'm an 8th grader at Pleasant Run Middle School, and I'm a part of College Credit Plus.
My name is Janessa Collins. I'm an 8th grader at Pleasant Run Middle School, and I am part of the CCP program.
Hi, my name is Amor Higgins, and I'm in 8th grade at Pleasant Run Middle.
I decided to join the CCP program because I saw this as a challenge within my education, and I'm willing to go far into college, so I feel like that gaining college credits and also gaining college experience would be very beneficial to me.
I decided to apply to the CCP program because when I was younger, I always knew that I wanted to be in the medical field. And so I was looking into that, and of course it's going to take years of college to do. And then I realized like a couple years ago that I wanted to become an anesthesiologist. And that's going to take a good amount of school. So when I heard that there was a CCP program and some years or months of our college was going to be taken off if I did it, then I decided to do it.
So when I was younger, I always wanted to go to school, and I found out that it would help me get a head start on all of my credits for both high school and middle school, and I want to be an anesthesiologist, so it's a lot of schooling. It takes a very long time. So if I get a head start, and it's free, so it would save me a lot of money in the long run.
I really like the college classes. The professor, my professor, she's really nice and she's understanding. And the other students there, they just don't care about age. They talk to us like we're their age. They tell us, like I said, their life stories, and they just talk. And
Take as of right now is my first year experience course, which is meant to be an introductory course to college. My experience in that class has been pretty good so far, as my instructor is very understanding, cool, calm, and collected, and also interacting with other students from a variety of ages is really fun, especially once you guys get to open up to each other. As far as the work inside of the class, it's not really that hard. As I said, it is meant to be an introductory course, but it still stands at a college level standard, and it is time consuming.
Definitely that you get a head start on your credits, as I said, because then you can go towards your high school and your college credits. And it also helps with like social skills, because when you go to college, you're with a lot of different people, like as far as race, ethnicity, ages, all types of different social backgrounds. So it's really good to get to connect with different people.
Classes that you take under College Credit Plus is at no cost to you. you'll gain college experience, you'll gain college credits, along with high school credits as well for every single class that you complete.
I would say, like, do your best on the AccuPlacer. That's the test you have to take to be able to enter the college, and just go for it. I mean, if you get in and you decide that it's too much or it's too much stress on you, you can always drop the classes. But, excuse me, but that also goes with, if you get in and you're scheduling your classes, make sure that you don't schedule a bunch of classes at once, and make sure your time management is wise, because you don't want to, you know, overwork yourself too much, because then it's like, you're probably gonna be burned out, and then the next semester you're probably not gonna want to start doing classes again. So it might mess you up about how you think about it. So I would say just be wise with your time management, and you can always reach out to your counselor or whoever for help.
For them is to learn how to manage your time. I do not think you'll be able to do it without me.
It is a lot of work. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of work, but I just make sure I'm honest with myself. So if I have a friend that asks me like, oh hey, do you want to go hang out or like go to the movies or something, and it's Saturday, but I know I have college work that I still haven't done that's due on Sunday, I would just be like, well, I gotta do this work, and maybe if I get done, or maybe if I get enough done to where I know I can just finish it up fast on Sunday before it's due, then yeah. But if not, then like, I'm sorry, we have to hang out another time, because even though like, yeah, I want to spend time with my friends, it's still very important to pass the classes and get a good grade.
With my own mantra, which is called DREAM, and what it stands for is dedicated, ready, enthusiastic, assertive, and motivated. I feel like that these particular adjectives should describe what a CCP student is.
Recovery.
The gist was there. Personally, I thought, well, come on up, Liz. I thought Amora did a great job describing like the time management piece. I wish Amora was in my ear when I was at California University of Pennsylvania as a freshman. You know, like, hey, that Saturday night call to go out to a movie or whatever, let's put that aside if you have some work to do. The lessons these kiddos are learning right now are going to last a lifetime. It's a good experience for them. So, Liz?
Hey, Liz, do you want to just take a moment for people who may not understand what College Credit Plus is, and just do kind of their 30,000-foot elevator speech about that, just so people have context for what is happening with these kids?
Okay, so College Credit Plus is it's a statewide program. It's free college credits as well as high school credits, and it's offered through for free through public colleges and universities, and then for a small fee for private colleges and universities. And our district works with Sustain State and Sinclair Community College, although students can go to any of the Ohio colleges, but those two are the ones we work with the most. So it's free.
And it's pretty uncommon for middle school kids to be so involved in College Credit Plus, because they're taking college courses.
Mm-hmm.
The courses are not modified for the kids because they're middle schoolers. They're taking full-blown college courses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk just a little bit about how you counsel kids about this giant step that they take?
Yes, so I talk about the requirement, which is passing an AccuPlacer, which is a placement test for English and math. Then also talk about the level of maturity they have to have, because they might encounter some adult content in some of the courses, and also the other classmates are adults and also CCP students, and they're interacting with the professor as well. So we have that conversation, what to expect. Also talk to the families. The families have to be on board, of course. And I start the students off with a first year experience course that I say that every freshman has to take, no matter what college you go to, an intro to the college. I have them take that class first so they can see, and just one course, and see how well they do, if they like, you know, everything's okay. And then that next semester, they might want to take English 101 or math, but just one course at a time. As they, you know, get older, then they might want to take more while they're at the high school. But it is open to grades 7 through 12.
Thank you for that context. Any questions? I just want to make sure everybody kind of had a better understanding of what the program was.
Congratulations. I think this is awesome. Like, it is so preparatory for the kids. Is this offered at CMS?
It's statewide, so all of our 8th grade, it actually goes down to 7th grade.
Right.
A lot of any middle schoolers that we have typically are 8th grade. So yes, it's 8th grade and through high school.
Oh, so let me rephrase that.
And they do
So
it at
is there
Butler Tech,
anybody,
too.
is there anybody at Corey Middle School that has enrolled in?
I don't believe we have any right now at either the other 2 middle schools.
This is actually really new for us. We,
Sure.
actually haven't had many freshmen or sophomores even taking advantage of CCP. We've typically had juniors and seniors.
Right.
Even though they can from 7th grade on. And Liz, with her knowledge and experience with Cincinnati State, has decided to take this on, and so far so good. And I think it's something we can definitely look to expand upon.
And I think Liz really hit the nail on the head that this really is a family decision because of the content the child might encounter, the interactions they're going to have with other kids who are already 18, 19, 21. So it really is a family conversation that is part of, is the child ready for that step?
I mentioned,
One quick question. Since those courses are offered during the school time hours, is there a conflict with courses at the 8th grade or 9th grade level where they have to leave and go down to Cincinnati State?
The courses are offered even in the evening, just like any other college campus. So the students right now, they take courses in the evening. I have one student that is taking 2 courses. She's taking her first year experience in the English 101. She's taking her first year experience online, and the other 2 are taking it online. But she's taking her English 101 on campus at Cincinnati State. Her mom agreed to that.
That's in the evening then?
Yes, in the
Okay, I
evening.
didn't know that. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, they also can take summer courses too.
Even better.
So it's great to see the families supporting the kids doing this because it does take up their time as well, so, and thank you.
yeah, thank you for encouraging. Because I can't imagine how fearful that would be for a middle schooler to, I guess can't even imagine it, to be perfectly honest. Like, I mean, just coming out of high school and going into college is scary enough, more or less.
A middle schooler, right?
Yeah.
I was a student of this when I was in high school. I didn't know about it in my 7th, 8th grade. Otherwise, I would have tried.
Sure.
But I didn't find out about it till like my senior year. So I took some classes my senior year in high school at UC.
So we have the 4 that were on the video. So are you going to use them as cheerleaders to help promote this?
Yes, I'm
Because
in
I imagine
yes.
the peer pressure, no, peer pressure is probably not the word, but the peer influence
Yes.
that they would have for somebody who would be on the fence. Like, I know my kids participated in a lot of this in the AP, which when my son got into college, because he had so much done, it allowed him to travel abroad. It allowed his experience to be so much more broad
Yes.
that, you know, the whole ticket is that you're ready to go when you get out, right? And this is the excellent. I love this stuff. This is outstanding.
And this is different than AP because they literally take the college credit at the university, and they're awarded the credit at the end of the course by passing the course.
Yes.
Whereas the AP, you have to take the AP exam and then get it based
Right.
on your score.
Right.
This one doesn't require that AP exam at the end. It's just the completion of the course.
It's a pass-fail.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's high school and college credit.
And it's graded, so you literally now, like these 8th graders will walk out of Pleasant Run Middle School with a college transcript that has a GPA on it with their grade on it.
That's outstanding.
Yes.
I think you are aware, but at the high schools right now, we offer quite a few what they call restricted CCP courses where our teachers teach them on our campus so the kids don't have to travel. But with virtual, it opens up
Sure.
a lot of possibilities for students to access courses and content that maybe we don't have a teacher who's able to teach. So we have a nice balance of students taking classes on campus, virtually, and on our campuses with our teachers.
And- And we did have the Butler Tech program at our last regular meeting with the robotics program, And the kids in that program are a part of College Credit Plus, and that's how they're graduating with their associate's degree, is through this same program that some of our middle school kids are in as well.
We're partnering, next year we're partnering with University of Cincinnati again, so we'll actually have 3 partners with the district and offering a couple new classes that we haven't had in the past, an ASL class as well as some education classes, so
Great.
excited about that.
Super. Any other questions? Discussion? Thank you so much. That was awesome. Butler Tech?
Mark, no, not tonight. Actually, our board meeting is tomorrow night,
Okay.
so we won't have anything till then, after that.
Any reports from any employee organizations? Krista? No? Okay. I just have one submission from Taylor PTA, a little shout out to Mrs. Gabby Diamond, 3rd grade teacher, is new to our district this year, but she fits right in with her passion for teaching. She is getting her master's in educational leadership at the University of Cincinnati. She is in charge of 3rd grade after-school tutoring, and she is a member of the team helping to pilot the new math program. Thanks for going above and beyond. And this is from the president of the PTA at Taylor.
Awesome.
My challenge to the PTAs and any other organization, please keep bragging. Like, it's great to hear all these positive things that are going on in the district. We had no community comments today submitted. And that brings us to superintendent consent items.
So tonight, we have our personnel items with 4 retirees, 4 resignations, 2 initial appointments, and 2 change in status. We have vendor contracts tonight for Corrigan High School prom, Hamilton County Educational Service Center, and Hope Squad. And we have extension from the developer on the Beavis site, who is asking for an extension from now until June 30th. Their variances were approved on March 23rd. They're going to provide an additional $10,000 non-refundable amount to extend the closing deadline to June 30th so they can get all of their other documents in a row. That would be applied to the closing or non-refundable if they miss that deadline. And then we have the curriculum approval for the social studies courses, 6 through 8 social studies, and high school psychology, sociology, and African American studies that were presented for information at our previous regular meeting. So with that, Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the adoption of the consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Consent items pass 5-0. Fiscal consent items.
So
Mrs.
for-
Wells.
For our fiscal consent items tonight, we have the minutes from our regular meeting on February 28th and our special meeting on March 7th. With that, ask the board to dispense with reading of and approve the minutes as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that passes 5-0.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the superintendent's update.
So not a lot tonight because we've had 3 weeks in a row together. But one of the things I do want to highlight is one of the items that was approved tonight was the contract for Hope Squad. That's been a partnership that we've been in the process of developing for several years. Our counselors are really connected to that. This is an evidence-based training that is mental health and suicide prevention based. And it really is about connecting kids to services as quickly as possible. So our counselors and a core group of students will be trained in this evidence-based model. And then when they encounter students who are struggling, they'll have the resources to connect them to the appropriate resources and intervene early and appropriately. So we're very excited for this partnership. A lot of other area districts have this and have had a lot of success with it, and we're excited that our 5 secondary schools will now have this resource as well.
Did the students volunteer sign up, or were they selected?
This will kick off in the fall, and the training will go, and so the counselors will go through a selection process, and kids will be able to volunteer or be nominated for the committee. That's it.
That's it. Anybody have any discussions or questions for Darryl? Okay, that brings us to board member comments. Mr. Heather?
Just real quick, Mark, I think it's great that the state universities are offering the college credit for our youngsters, but I might remind people out there in the viewing audience that they also offer free courses for old folks, like me and you, Mark. I think I'm the only one up here that qualifies. I'm currently taking Spanish for free at Blue Ash, Spanish 3. It's on space available, but there's always space. And it's just great to go for free. And so you can take it young, you can take it old. And so the state universities really get kudos for offering to us old folks also.
We're going to take you to La Piñata and see how you're doing.
I'm ready to go. I can order and I can ask where the bathroom is.
Mrs. Detzel?
I don't have anything tonight.
Mrs. Tully?
First, I'd like to wish all of the juniors good luck tomorrow. We have the ACT at the high schools tomorrow, so good luck to all of them. And thank Brad and Elizabeth, and wish those students continued success on those College Credit Plus courses. And just congratulations to all of the students that were recognized here tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Teasdorf?
I don't have anything this evening.
Okay. Yeah, I want to reiterate what Nicole just said about thank you, Brad and Elizabeth, for coming in. It'll be interesting to watch these kids through their career here at Northwest to see where advancement that takes them. It's got to feel very similar to the Butler Tech advancement when they're done. I want to thank the PTAs. I've been going to as many of the PTA meetings as I could go to, encouraging them to come and share about what's going on in the district. And I feel like it's really created a kind of a more upbeat feel, because we do deal with a lot of things, and we need to see the wins and not just maybe some of the losses. So I'm encouraging anybody, continue that, please. The thing that I've been bragging about this for the last several weeks, is we are really seeing incidences where our kids are excelling, like athletics, academics, leadership, vocation. Like it is, if we don't share that, we don't know that. And so I think it is awesome that we're seeing these things. I want to shout out to both wrestling teams at Northwest and Coleraine. I think this was one of the few years where we had, I can't remember when Joe sent the notice out that, I can't remember exactly how he said it. Both schools had somebody in the finals, I think is.
State finals.
State finals?
Both schools had state qualifiers. The Hardin boys did a fantastic job, as they always have at Northwest, and then Tim Smith and Bryce Sears at Corning High School both qualified. So 2 and 2. Tim Smith was actually able to take 4th place in the state, which is an incredible feat at that weight class, because that is a lot of very tough kids, particularly at that weight class. So he did a great job. Somebody was his youth coach at one point, and he's pretty proud of him.
So I guess the brothers had to flip coin who was going to wrestle heavyweight and who was going to wrestle 190, because they didn't have to wrestle each other. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, whoever took one less trip to the buffet. But a lot of just really, really good stuff, man. I love it. This is really exciting. So other than that, I just say let's finish strong as we come into home stretch here for the rest of the year, and see what other successes we can generate and enjoy. That brings us to a second and last executive session.
So the board will approve a motion to move into executive session to consider appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. We'll break for executive session. We will come back. There is no other book of business other than to adjourn the meeting. Great. Thanks for the dust and the details.